question. So let me ask the audience, where in the world would you like to travel to? Anywhere in the world. Let me hear 5 responses. Where do you want to go? Portugal, I love it. Greece? Germany? India? Well, okay, Hawaii. Italy, Massachusetts? Okay, London. Everywhere. So, over the summer, I actually went and spent a month, most of the month of June and July, walking 500 miles across Spain on purpose with everything that would fit in that backpack on my back. And I was on my own for 34 days. Actually, for 2 months I was on my own. But I walked that trip for 34 days. No DoorDash. Very few comforts. Just me, my feet, 3 outfits, and my travel journal, all on a solo adventure. So this walk is what's called the Camino de Santiago, and it's an ancient pilgrimage that starts or stretches from the Pyrenees Mountains, which is in the southern part of Spain, and then it crosses over, the Pyrenees Mountains are in the southern part of France. And then they crosses over into, goes to the western coast of Spain, in Santiago, Spain. Some people walk it for religious reasons. Some people walk it for adventure, some for healing. Some people just want to lose a few pounds, over 500 miles. But I had a love-hate relationship with that backpack. As I said, everything I needed I carried on my back. And at the beginning of my trip, it weighed over 20 pounds, which is roughly 9 kilograms. And I got blisters on the bottoms of my feet. My legs would often feel like heavy cinder blocks at the end of the walking day. On top of that, Europe this past summer was experiencing a heat wave similar to what I think we were feeling here in England. So temperatures most days got up to the high 90s. We even had a day that got over 100 degrees on that trail. So walking the 20-pound pack was a challenge. But this was probably the most difficult aspect of the whole trip. Truly, the good outweighed the bad. Unintended. So walking 500 miles across the country, and every step took me through new sceneries, new landscapes, and meeting new people. And there was no time to be bored because I was walking through constant nuance. When I had time to be alone, walking through forests or through wheat pastures and vineyards, this became my time to reflect on my life and process my past. And in my weakest moments and in quiet mornings, I used my time alone to pray, to commune with God. And these moments gradually led to breakthroughs over that time, and actually are still leading to breakthroughs today. So even though I made that journey on my own, I never felt alone. I actually met all kinds of weird, wonderful people. Most folks on the trail were friendly, and talking to strangers really helped the time fly by. I even made some friends that I still keep in touch with. Kate Richmond from Melbourne, Australia. She was awesome. So we ended up walking together for the final week when I was on the trail. And we even crossed the line together into Santiago to get to this beautiful cathedral in Santiago, Spain. And then I also met Dee Dee a Kiwi from New Zealand. So Dee Dee didn't know this, but she actually talked me out of quitting. There were a couple of times at the beginning, the first 2 weeks, where I was just exhausted, I was hot, I was tired, my legs hurt, and I was ready to give up. I was thinking about getting a ticket back to Boston and not even finishing the rest of my trip. But it was one of those days where Dee Dee just showed up, a stranger I never met before, and she just started talking to me. And her talking to me was enough to help me forget about myself and my pain and keep going. Before we knew it, we were at the next destination. And I was able to go find a place. So she helped me get through that trip. Let's see. Oh, I even got to see some alumni from Tilton. So India, Kia, Faith, and Emily met up with me in Santiago at the end of my walk. They just, India, Kia, and Faith were visiting Emily in Spain, where she lives, and we got to get together for dinner. And I met this sweet young woman named Chitti from Boston, and she actually taught me, I met her on my first day, she actually taught me how to make the Gen Z selfie. Have you guys heard of this? The Gen Z selfie? Okay, let me demonstrate. I'll show you if we can try this together. So I can do that demonstration. What you do is you put your phone on camera mode. You don't put it on selfie. You keep it like this. We're gonna put it on 0.5. And we're gonna turn it around. And we're gonna take a photo. 1, 2. Pose, pose, pose. Yes. And we're gonna really quick photo. Thank you so much. Yes. So it wasn't always pretty. There are, I would say, 4 key takeaways, big lessons that I learned on the trail. The first is that you can do hard things. Your brain wants to quit before your body does, except your feet. Your feet will absolutely betray you. That's what it is. And then also, comparison is the thief of joy. There were 75-year-olds passing me on the mountains. So I would have to kind of like pause, take my breath, and act like I was taking in the view. Just let them know. Also, small steps will get you there. I didn't walk 500 miles at one time. I walked 15 miles 34 times. So it takes a while. But you'll get there with one step at a time. And then people matter. So there, like I said, there were at least 2 times in the first 2 weeks when I was ready to quit. And there was people like Debbie and strangers who would, just by stopping and saying hi and asking simple questions like, why are you here? Where are you from? That was enough to get a conversation going and help us all forget how much pain we were in. So never underestimate the power of just showing up for someone. So the Camino taught me that life isn't about comfort zones or being the fastest or looking really cool in hiking gear. Although that's a perk. It's about showing up one step at a time, when you're tired, especially when you're tired. The journey wasn't really about walking across Spain. It was about walking through life with intention. And really for me, it was about the quality time with all the great people that I met on that journey. So that time meant more to me than sitting in front of that beautiful cathedral at the end of the Camino. When I got to the end, what I was thinking back on was how lovely those quotes were and the great memories that we made. So now you may be wondering the same thing that Beaumont was wondering when I told him about my trips over the summer. Miss Smith, why would you do that to yourself? Why on earth would anyone walk 500 miles across French and Spanish mountains, mesetas, city streets, and forests in the middle of a summer heat wave? Well, I did it for a number of reasons. I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to get lost, to figure a few things out. I wanted a spiritual cleanse. I wanted to force a change in my life from the inside out. I wasn't happy with how the previous year had gone. I needed to forgive myself for setting unrealistic expectations and for not meeting those expectations that there's people. I had to own my part in that, and what was that the part that I was contributing to rob myself of my joy. I had to own that. But this allowed me to expand grace in my life, to see more beauty in creation and in each person that I come into contact with. And it was something that my time on Camino gave me space to process those emotions, and I'm still seeing and feeling the effects months after the journey ended. So I'm absolutely also experiencing abundant quality time with the people I know. The fear of failing or quitting was real, but that made it worth it. And everyone needs something hard to push against. So to use a quote from Mr. Kine's invitation at the start of the school year, hard is where purpose springs to life. And that's what the Camino did for me. Now, I didn't just walk the Camino on my summer break. I've also made stops in Paris. I also got to visit Miss Court at her family home in Greece and spent some time on Faroe Islands. I even got to stop in Denmark for a week or two to see my sister. And I went to Italy for my final week of the trip to have some more time for reflection, to eat really good food, and see some beautiful, beautiful art, drink lots of coffee, delicious breads. Oh, and I also got to visit one of the locations of one of my favorite TV shows about soccer. Raise your hand if you recognize this location. Can anyone name it? Ted Lasso. Where does Ted Lasso live? Richmond. So, well, I hope that you get to go to those places that you described a few minutes ago. And please, 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 come show me your photos. Tell me all about your trip. I do want to hear about it. You don't have to walk across the country, but maybe you say yes to something that scares you, like giving a chapel talk, maybe stepping into a leadership role, or maybe it's just talking to a stranger and striking up a conversation, which, by the way, all friendships begin with a stranger. I'm just saying. So maybe you take the first step, even if you have no idea what that next step looks like, and that's okay.